Welcome back, Ghost Streamers. In the last two videos, we recapped It. Welcome to Derry episodes 1 through 4. If you missed those episodes, make sure to check them out. The links are in the description and the pinned comment. And in today's video, we're diving straight into episodes 5 and 6. Before we start, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more spine-tingling recaps. All right, turn down the lights. It's time to meet It. Welcome to Derry. Episode 5 opens with Halloran waking up after entering Taniel's mind. Taniel looks extremely sick, so soldiers rush him to the hospital. General Shaw asks Halloran if he found the pillars' locations, and Halloran quietly confirms. Hanlon, confused and angry, demands, "What just happened?" Shaw stays calm and tells Hanlon that it's finally time for him to get some answers. In the next scene, Lily visits Marge at the hospital, worried because everyone thinks she hurt her. Marge assures her she told people that Lily didn't hurt her. She lied and said her broken glasses cut her eye, and Lily was only helping when others walked in. Marge admits she didn't tell the truth because people would think she's crazy, and she apologizes for not believing Lily earlier. Marge asks why all of this is happening and whether it will happen again. Lily tells her they still don't know, but promises that if it does, Marge won't have to face it alone. The two girls hug each other tightly. Later, Lily climbs the viewing deck with Will, Roni, and Rich. Will asks if Marge is okay, and Lily explains her eye is injured, but she'll recover. Roni says if Marge really wants to help, she should tell the chief the truth, but Will reminds her the police already refused to believe them. Lily adds that the cops probably think she attacked Marge and that Marge is covering for her. Suddenly, the kids hear coughing inside a tent, and when they check, they find Maddie, who is alive but looks weak and terrified. Lily immediately asks where he's been, and Maddie tells them he's been hiding in the sewers under Derry, where the clown lives. He explains the creature kept some of the kids alive because it needed their fear. Will gently asks how he escaped, and Maddie says the clown feeds at night and sleeps during the day, so he waited and ran. Lily asks about Teddy, Phil, and Susie. Maddie sadly explains that Teddy was killed, Susie bled to death overnight, but Phil is still alive, unable to move or speak, but alive. Roni insists they need to go to the police, both to save Phil and to clear her dad's name, but Maddie refuses. He says no cops, because if they get involved, he'll be sent back to his abusive father. Maddie says he would rather return to the sewers than go home. At the base, General Shaw explains to Major Hanlon that the tribal people built 13 hidden pillars made from the fallen star that once imprisoned the creature. These pillars were buried centuries ago to create a boundary the monster can't cross. Later, the town of Derry was built inside that boundary. Hanlon realizes Shaw is saying the whole town is a prison, and Shaw confirms it. He reveals that Taniel belongs to a secret order that has protected the pillars for almost 400 years, successfully keeping the creature trapped until now. Shaw explains that Halloran searched Taniel's mind and discovered the exact locations of the pillars, as well as the access point, an abandoned house at 29 Niebolt Street connected to tunnels leading directly to the pillars. Shaw orders Hanlon and Colonel Fuller to lead a small team the next morning to secure the pillars so they can shrink the creature's cage, essentially capturing it. Shaw imagines using the creature as a weapon to end wars. Hanlon, shaken, confronts Shaw for letting him bring his family to Derry despite knowing it was the creature's hunting ground. Shaw coldly says Hanlon chose to live off base and suggests moving his family onto the base now. Hanlon firmly says he will, then leaves. At the tribal meeting, the elders review the creature's recent activity, note that this cycle has been milder than those in 1935 and 1908. So far, there have been 25 disappearances and 7 confirmed deaths, mostly children between ages 5 and 16. They point out that the creature's shedding and its toxic discharge has always contaminated Derry's groundwater, affecting the townspeople's behavior. Recently, their scouts noticed that residents have become unusually aggressive. One elder identifies this as the augury, a final violent event that signals the end of the creature's cycle. After the augury, the tribe expects another 27 years of quiet before the creature returns again. During the meeting, a young boy rushes in and tells Rose that the military has taken Taniel. In the following scene, Hank is being taken to Shawshank. The chief warns him that Charlotte better work fast because the last prisoner they sent there didn't survive a week. Suddenly, a furious man breaks through the crowd with a gun, screaming that Hank deserves to burn in hell for what happened to his kids. The police stop him just in time. During the chaos, Charlotte suddenly notices one of the policemen staring at her with a creepy Pennywise-like smile. She freezes for a second, then the man vanishes instantly. Later, Charlotte makes a phone call about Hank, who is being taken to Shawshank. She explains that she wants to ensure all the paperwork is in order so he can be with his family as quickly as possible while his legal defense is prepared, and she asks to be kept updated. Then Hanlon arrives home, urgently asking where Will is. Charlotte replies that he's in his room. Hanlon tells Charlotte that what he's about to say may sound unbelievable, but he needs her to trust him. Hanlon explains about the Galoo, revealing that Derry is its territory. Afterward, he moves his family out of the town and into the safety of the base. Later, Rose confronts General Shaw, demanding to know where her nephew Taniel has been taken. Shaw calmly tells her that Taniel is safe and will be released once the military operation is finished. Rose doesn't trust him, especially after hearing his vague excuse about water pipelines. Shaw then admits he wasn't fully honest before. He explains that 5 years earlier, the Department of Defense gave him a security protocol drug that caused all his forgotten memories of Derry to return. For the first time in 45 years, he remembered every detail of the summer they shared, including how Rose had saved his life from something inhuman. Shaw explains that once he understood the creature and her tribe's sacred duty, he became convinced that capturing it might be the key to protecting the country. Rose warns him the creature cannot be controlled, and that if he truly remembered what it felt like to face it, he would shut down the entire mission and run. When Shaw reveals he knows about the pillars and the tunnels beneath Neibolt House, Rose realizes Taniel must have been forced to give up the information. She tells Shaw he'll need her help, at least to prepare Taniel, because everyone's life depends on it. After leaving, Rose returns home and retrieves the sacred dagger she has kept hidden. Later, Rose meets Taniel. He apologizes and says the agents went into his mind and saw all his memories, including everything about the pillars. Rose tells him she already explained to them that he can only help if he has the dagger, and they agreed since it's safe and he's the only one who can use it. Taniel understands. Fuller arrives, takes the object, and says Taniel will get it back in the morning. As Taniel is taken away, Rose tells him to follow their orders and quietly whispers that when he gets the object back, he must keep it close to stay safe. In the next scene, Lily visits Ingrid to talk and explains that Maddie believes Phil might still be alive in the tunnels, but refuses to go to the police because he's afraid they'll send him home. Ingrid is heartbroken for the boy. Lily then meets Ingrid's husband, Mr. Kirsch, who behaves strangely rude and aggressive. He recognizes Lily, snaps about his dinner, and leaves abruptly. Once he's gone, Ingrid insists they should involve the police if a child is missing, but Lily refuses because she promised Maddie. Ingrid warns Lily that this is dangerous, grown-up business, and she must not try to go down into the tunnels herself. She makes Lily promise not to risk her life. Lily agrees, even though she clearly still believes she can save Phil. At the base, Will makes an excuse to his mom, saying he just wants to take a walk and explore the base, but instead, he sneaks out to meet his friends. After Will leaves, Charlotte hears the news about a prison bus to Shawshank has crashed, killing several people, and Hank Grogan is believed to have escaped. The broadcast also warns that the Neibolt Street is closed because of a supposed gas leak. But we know the truth. The gas leak is a cover for the military's secret operation happening at an abandoned house on Neibolt Street. In the next scene, Lily brings Marge to the viewing deck. Roni isn't happy to see her, but Lily explains that the creature targeted Marge too. Lily says they can't force Maddie to go to the police because they won't believe him. They'll just send him back to his abusive dad. Lily tells the group that if Phil is still alive and can prove Hank is innocent, then they need to save him themselves. Maddie refuses at first, scared to go back into the sewers, but Lily pushes him, saying he has to show them where Phil is or they'll all take him to the cops. Rich says they'll get eaten, but Lily pulls out her mom's anxiety pills. She believes the creature feeds on fear, and if they take the pills, they won't be scared, so it can't feed. The group hesitates. Lily then reminds them that Phil has no one, and if they don't help, he'll die. After this, the group finally agrees to go into the tunnels, while the others make their plan and Will rushes. Meanwhile, the military team along with Hanlon, Polly, Halloran, Fuller, and Taniel enters the abandoned Neibolt Street house and descends through the well into the sewers. Taniel, carrying the sacred dagger, guides them toward the pillars. As they move deeper, Halloran jumps into a pool of water but sinks into a deeper section and vanishes, eventually surfacing alone inside an old bathtub. Two soldiers dive in to search for him, but moments later they hear footsteps in the dark.
I want
Hearing their screams, Hanlon calls out for Halloran, but with no answer, he and Polly head back to look for him. When Tennille realizes the group is now separated, only Fuller remains near him. Seeing this as his chance to escape, Tennille runs, and Fuller shoots him. Tennille drops the dagger but has no time to recover it and flees into the tunnels. Meanwhile, above ground, Maddie shows the kids the tunnel he originally escaped from. They each swallow 3 anxiety pills to suppress their fear, and Maddie leads them inside. In the following, Halloran sees his grandmother. She warns him, he's coming for you again. Terrified, Halloran then sees his abusive grandfather holding a metal box, the same box Halloran created in his mind as a child to lock away all his trauma. When he was young, his grandfather forced him to witness horrifying things, so Halloran learned to box up his pain. Now Pennywise wants that box opened. Halloran refuses, but his grandfather shoots his grandmother, laughs like Pennywise, and opens the metal box, unleashing Halloran's buried trauma. Meanwhile, Hanlon and Polly navigate the tunnels. Hanlon suddenly sees Charlotte standing in front of him, panicked and crying. Polly can't see her at all and thinks Hanlon is losing it. Charlotte begs Hanlon to put his gun down, then she suddenly charges at him, transforming into the Galoo. Hanlon fires, and the creature vanishes with a smile. Shaken, Hanlon warns Polly that anything he sees down here, no matter what form it takes, is the creature, and they must kill it without hesitation. And Polly agrees, and the two continue forward. Back in the tunnels, the kids are groggy and unfocused from taking too many anxiety pills. Maddie leads them deeper until they reach a dead end, where the real truth appears. The kids suddenly see the bodies of Susie, Teddy, Phil, and Maddie himself. The Maddie who brought them here was actually Pennywise in disguise, luring them into a trap. The children panic and run, but Lily gets separated in the chaos. Meanwhile, Hanlon and Polly reach the end of the tunnel. They hear Will screaming for help, and Hanlon prepares to fire, believing it's the Galoo mimicking his voice. But Will and the remaining kids appear for real. Polly sees them too and tries to stop Hanlon. He jumps in the way, taking the bullet himself, and dying. Heartbroken, Hanlon lifts Polly's body and escorts the kids out of the tunnels. Lily, still alone, desperately searches for an exit. She calls for her friends but only finds another dead end. Pennywise appears and taunts Lily, telling her she convinced all her friends to come to him, calling her a good friend but a bad daughter, twisting her guilt to scare her even more. Then he transforms into her father's form, terrifying her more. As Pennywise moves in to attack, he suddenly stops. The dagger is lying in the water in front of Lily. The creature backs away and disappears. Lily picks up the dagger and escapes. While Ingrid sits in her car, Hank suddenly reveals himself from the back seat, telling her not to look at him and to just drive. She takes him into the woods where they kiss, revealing that Ingrid is the woman Hank has been secretly having an affair with. Ingrid, scared after seeing the news, asks what happened, and Hank explains the bus was attacked by something he can't describe. Ingrid warns him that police checkpoints are now set up on all roads in and out of Derry, and they need to find a safe place for him to hide. After panicking, Hank finally says there might be someone else who can help. Later, Ingrid goes to Charlotte and confesses everything, that Hank has been with her, that they were having an affair, and that she knows where he's been hiding. At the base, Hanlon gives his statement, shaken and guilt-ridden over Polly's death. Shaw enters, offering his condolences and calling Russo a good man. Hanlon quietly thanks him, but Shaw shifts to questioning what happened, saying the people responsible will pay. Exhausted, Hanlon asks to just go home to his family, and Shaw agrees. Before leaving, Hanlon stops him to ask about Halloran. Shaw says Halloran never reported back, but if anyone could escape the tunnels, it would be Dick Halloran. In the next scene, Halloran, exhausted and barely able to stand, finally walks out of the tunnel. As he walks, he suddenly sees Polly's spirit wander into the woods and watch him. The sight shakes him, because in his mind, the metal box where he kept all his trauma is now wide open, showing that everything he tried to lock away has been released, and the episode 5 ends. Episode 6 opens in 1935 at Juniper Hill Asylum. Ingrid Kirsch wakes a young girl named Mabel and gently leads her to the asylum's basement, telling her there's nothing to be afraid of. Ingrid asks Mabel if this is where the clown told her to meet him. Suddenly, a red balloon floats into view. Mabel panics and tries to run, but Ingrid tries to calm her, saying it's only a balloon. At that moment, Pennywise appears and grabs the balloon, and the scene cuts. The scene shifts to 1962, where Hanlon angrily scolds Will for sneaking into the tunnels. He tells Will that his disobedience nearly got him killed and led to Polly's death. Will argues that Hanlon knows the creature was responsible. Charlotte tries to calm things down, but Hanlon shuts her out, saying she wasn't there. Hanlon explains that the creature can change shape, read minds, and physically kill people. Will says he already knows what it can do because it has come after him and his friends many times. Hanlon insists that Will is safe outside Derry and orders him to stay in his room. Will refuses, reminding Hanlon that he taught him to face trouble and protect his friends. When Will says he would never let his friends die, Hanlon loses control and slaps him, then instantly regrets it. Will, convinced the fear has gotten into his father's head, pulls away and storms out. In town, wanted posters appear for Henry Grogan, also known as Hank, who escaped after the prison bus accident. At the viewing deck, the kids gather, and Lily shows them the dagger she found in the sewers. She explains that when the clown chased her underwater, the dagger began to glow, and the creature reacted with fear before backing away and disappearing. She refuses to let anyone touch it, holding it tightly herself. Lily believes that if the creature is afraid of the dagger, they might be able to use it as a weapon. She suggests that they all go back into the tunnels together and kill it. Roni gets angry and refuses to listen. She blames Lily for dragging everyone into the tunnels and nearly getting them killed. She calls Lily crazy, and the argument quickly turns personal. Lily breaks down and says she never wanted any of this. She explains that she went along because Maddie said there was a chance Phil was still alive, and she felt she had to help. Roni lashes out at Lily for what happened to her family is her fault, and cruelly says she wishes she had never met Lily and then storms off. Rich points out that this fighting is exactly what Pennywise wants, to turn them against each other. Will decides to go after Roni to make sure she is okay. Marge tries to defend Lily, but Lily, overwhelmed and hurt, tells everyone to leave her alone and walks away. Will catches up with Roni, who angrily says that Lily will not stop until someone gets killed and that she is trying to send them back to the tunnels again. She asks Will if he agrees, and although hesitant, he supports her. Roni admits she may have gone too far, but says she is exhausted and tired of being scared. Will tells her he feels the same, and the two share a quiet hug. Soon after, Charlotte arrives, tells them to get into the car, and drives them away. Elsewhere, Halloran reaches a new place arranged by General Shaw, which Black Airmen named the Black Spot, where his friends are staying and planning to party the next day. He is shocked to discover Hank Grogan hiding there, knowing the town is full of wanted posters and rewards for him. Halloran angrily confronts his friend Reggie, who explains that Charlotte asked them to hide Hank temporarily and claims she has a plan to get him out of town. Hank begs to stay hidden and promises not to leave the room. Halloran refuses to get involved and tries to walk away. At that moment, Charlotte brings Roni inside. Roni sees Hank and runs to him, and father and daughter reunite in an emotional hug. Charlotte thanks Halloran for allowing it, but he coldly tells her to leave him out of it and walks away. At the viewing deck, Rich runs into Marge and startles her. He offers to help when she says she needs to change the bandage on her injured eye, and he gently helps dress the wound. As they talk, Rich admits the earlier fight between Lily and Roni felt wrong and says he has a bad feeling that the creature is not finished with them. He wonders if Lily might be right about the object she found and if it could be the only way to stop the monster. Rich says that if the creature comes back, they will have a better chance of surviving and stopping it if they stay together as friends, instead of facing it alone. And Marge agrees, adding that Roni is the one who still needs to be convinced. In the following scene, Hanlon goes to meet Halloran, who is drunk and shaken, clearly frightened after seeing spirits again. When Hanlon asks what happened in the tunnels, Halloran explains that since childhood he has been able to see the dead, a gift his grandmother also had. She taught him to survive by imagining a box in his mind and locking all the terrible visions inside it. He did that when he was 9 and hadn't seen the dead again until the creature forced its way into his mind, ripped the box open, and released all the spirit. He explains that the dead linger near the places where they died, and that some of them are now here. They do not speak unless he acknowledges them, but if he does, the voices will never stop, and they know dangerous things, including how to find what the military is looking for. Hanlon, grieving his best friend's death and shaken by nearly killing his son, pressures Halloran to use his power one last time, saying it will help finish the mission, and that Halloran can lock everything away again afterward. Halloran angrily asks what happens if he can't control it anymore, accusing Hanlon of only caring about what he wants and not about the damage it causes him. Hanlon insists it's about doing the right thing, but Halloran snaps back, mocks him for blindly following Shaw, and tells him to get out. The argument escalates until Hanlon reminds Halloran of his authority and warns him to think about his duty or face arrest. He then orders Halloran to get some rest and leaves. Later, Hanlon comes home and and finds Charlotte packing their things. She tells him Will is out with his friends because they are the only ones he trusts now, and she doesn't blame him. Charlotte confronts Hanlon for hitting their son. Hanlon apologizes, saying his mind was messed up after what happened in the tunnels and Polly's death, and that he was trying to protect the country. Charlotte angrily responds that he brought his family into a town ruled by a monster. She then reveals that Hank Grogan is hiding at the Black Spot and admits she arranged it. She says she plans to get Hank safely out of town the next morning and then leave Derry with Will, with or without Hanlon. Hanlon says he still has a mission to finish and can't walk away. Charlotte tells him that if he wants to make things right, he needs to focus on his son, not his mission. In the classroom, Lily is distracted and haunted by Pennywise's words, replaying in her head how he said she brought everyone to him because she is such a good friend. She then imagines her father inside the desk, mocking her and warning that no one will help her and that she will die if she tries to fight back. Panicking in front of the whole class, Lily pulls out the dagger, points it at the desk, and screams for him to stay away. She slams the desk shut, shocking everyone, and then runs out of the classroom. During lunch, Rich and Marge talk about how neither of them slept well, both hearing strange voices in the pipes at night and was too scared to even go to the bathroom, so he used a jar. Marge jokes that in medieval times it was called a chamber pot, and even knights used them, which makes Rich feel better. Rich then gives Marge an eye mask he found in his attic, saying it once belonged to a pirate. Marge loves it, and they joke that they now look like a pirate and a knight, and even hinting at a Halloween date. The moment turns awkward just as Patty and her friends arrive, mocking Marge and blaming Lily for what happened to her eye. Patty invites Marge to sit with them, insulting Rich and the others. Instead, Marge scares Patty's group by revealing her injured eye and growling at them. The girls scream and run away, and Marge smiles, owning the fact that she is different. Later, Will takes Rich and Marge to the Black Spot to meet Roni, urging her that they need to stay together and face the creature as a team. In another scene, Lily goes to Ingrid's house, but no one answers, and the front door is open. She goes inside, calling for Ingrid, and ends up in the attic, where she finds an album of old photos. One photo of Ingrid's father, Bob Gray, and him reminding Lily of Pennywise. Suddenly, Ingrid appears and asks why Lily is there. Lily explains that she and the others went into the tunnels and that Maddie is dead. She breaks down and Ingrid comforts her, saying she is safe. While being hugged, Lily notices Ingrid's father dressed and makeup like Pennywise. Lily shows Ingrid the picture of the clown, and Ingrid reacts excitedly, saying Lily brought him back. Lily notices Ingrid's periwinkle costume in the attic. Ingrid explains it is her old costume, and Lily realizes Ingrid had been following them. Ingrid reveals the truth. She followed the kids, appeared in the cemetery, was captured in Will's photo, and even stalked Will at night. She believed Pennywise would appear, thinking the creature was actually her father. Ingrid explains that her father was a carnival performer who called himself Pennywise the Dancing Clown. She loved him deeply, and after he was taken from her, she stayed in Derry, feeling drawn to the place and hoping to see him again. Ingrid tells Lily about what happened in 1935 at Juniper Hill Asylum. When Ingrid was working at the asylum, she overheard a young girl named Mabel talking to a doctor. Mabel said a clown called Pennywise spoke to her from the pipes and asked her to come to the basement at night to see his carnival. The doctor dismissed it and told her clowns were not real. Later that night, Ingrid secretly took Mabel to the basement. Then Pennywise appeared and greeted Mabel, saying he was glad she finally came and noticed she had brought a friend. Ingrid recognized him as her father and called him Papa. Suddenly, Pennywise attacked. Ingrid tried to escape with Mabel, but Mabel fell, and Pennywise slammed the door shut, trapping her inside. Ingrid desperately tried to open the door as Mabel begged for help, but she couldn't. Ingrid watched in horror as Pennywise moved closer and killed Mabel. Afterward, Pennywise appeared to Ingrid as Bob Gray, looking like her father. He spoke gently, calling her Pumpkin, saying he missed her and asking her to open the door and let him in. Believing it was truly her father, Ingrid opened the door. Ingrid tells Lily that she believed her father's spirit was trapped inside the creature, so she became desperate to free him. She believed that if her father could see her once more dressed as his old periwinkle costume, he would remember their love and break free. Hearing all this, Lily becomes terrified and begs Ingrid not to hurt her or her friends. Ingrid insists she would never hurt Lily and asks her to understand, saying that anyone would do anything to see their father again. She claims that in Derry, no one who dies ever truly dies and urges Lily to come with her that night so she can prove it. Realizing the danger, Lily pulls out the dagger, attacks Ingrid, and runs out of the house as Ingrid calls after her. At the black spot, Marge says that if they are going after the creature, they all need to stick together. Roni refuses, saying she won't leave until she knows her father is safe. Will assures her that her dad will be fine because no one knows he's hiding there. But Roni says she's not getting separated again and decides to stay behind. She leaves, and Rich comments that she's stubborn. Will agrees and says he is stubborn too. Will goes to talk to Roni and her father, Hank. Will explains that the thing Lily found in the sewers really scares the creature and could possibly stop it for good, but only if they all stay together. Roni shuts him down, saying there's no way her father would let her go back into danger. Hank steps in and says Roni isn't going anywhere, but he understands Will is worried about her. Hank asks Will if he really cares about his daughter, and Will admits that he does. Hank says he feels the same way, which is why he can't let her go. He then teasingly questions if Will and Roni have been spending a lot of time together, embarrassing Roni. Meanwhile, at a bar, a group of white townspeople are angrily discussing the missing child killer, Hank. They suggest searching the sewers again, and Chief interrupts and says the killer isn't there. He reveals that a woman called in a tip pointing to a specific place, strongly suggesting the black spot. When asked if he's going to arrest Grogan, the chief explains he can't. He's just been removed from duty by the deputy mayor and no longer has the authority to act. The others ask why he's even telling them this, as tension builds. Meanwhile, at the black spot, everyone is enjoying the party, singing and dancing. In contrast, Halloran is drunk and clearly disturbed, hearing spirits whispering to him. At the bar, Rich and Marge ask the bartender for Coke, but he unknowingly serves them Coke mixed with alcohol. Will soon joins them and tells them he tried to convince Roni, but she refused to change her mind. Rich is disappointed and asks what they're supposed to do next. Just then, a musician notices the drumsticks in Rich's pocket and asks if he can play. Rich admits he can play a little. The musician explains their drummer is too drunk and invites Rich to sit in. Marge encourages him, saying she's never seen him play and that it's only a few more minutes. Rich agrees and gets on stage. As he plays the drums, he completely impresses Marge, who watches him in awe while the party continues around them. Outside the black spot, Halloran's friend is flirting with a woman, trying to enjoy the night. Suddenly, several cars pull up near the club. It's the chief and a group of white men from the bar. They step out wearing face coverings and carrying guns, making it clear they've come with violent intent. In the final moments, the scene cuts to Ingrid, who slowly dresses herself in her old periwinkle clown costume, and the episode 6 ends. And that wraps up It, Welcome to Derry. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell for more chilling movie stories. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.